Aloha everybody and welcome to the final part of Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, and also, Happy Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna be going on a date today. A date with you, the audience. Eh? Eh? Come on, you know I love you. But anywho, folks, we're going after the last Street Fighter until we head off to the Shadaloo Kings. We're taking on what is essentially the main character of all Street Fighter, Ryu. He's been in pretty much every single game, including the first one. You could play as Ken in the first one if you used the second controller, but I think it's canon that Ryu won the first Street Fighter tournament, taking on the vicious Sagat and giving him one hell of a Shoryuken that put a big scar on his chest. And Ryu's been in every game. Street Fighter 3, the Alphas, the 4s, the 5s. 5 did not come out when this game was released. 5 came out 2015, 2016? Time flies so quickly I can never remember. But yeah, there's an energy tank here. I could have went down that hole and it would have taken me to a lower route. It wasn't a bottomless pit. Instead, I used the watermelon to bounce super high. I don't think you need the watermelon to bounce high and get the energy tank, but I don't want to take any, I don't want to take any chances. I want to make sure I definitely get that energy tank. Now, I only have one more perfect to go in order to get the secret final boss, so you would think, why do I need all these energy tanks? Are the final bosses, like, really, really hard? I need backup insurance because Version 2 added an extra boss, okay? Like, the secret final boss was always in Version 1, but when they made Version 2, they added another boss that you can unlock if you get 4 perfects in the boss rush level. And, with how many lives I'm allowed to collect, and how many retries I'm allowed to do before the final boss disappears on me, because, again, I cannot continue, I cannot lose all my lives, it would be kind of helpful to have a lot of energy tanks for a lot of the later levels in the game. Plus, I do plan on taking on that second other secret boss along with Bison, and without an energy tank, that fight can be really, really, really challenging. Take my word for it. But anywho, folks, here he is. Big Bad Ryu doing his Tatsumaki Senpakyu! And his Shoryukens! And his Hadoukens! He actually has, like, this weird 8-bit, like, sound effect when he ever does any of these techniques. These weird, like, voice clips, but he's not really saying anything. Now, in case you're wondering what's happening here, I didn't get a perfect. I need 4. I got one with Dalsim, I got one with Chun-Li, I got one with Blanca. I need one more if I'm gonna get the secret final boss, and I didn't get it with the other Street Fighters, so I kinda have to get it with this guy. And I also want to save an energy tank. So the minute I got hit, I was just like, alright, let's restart this fight, kill me. I want to come back in with full health, and I don't want to waste an energy tank coming in. So, yeah. Anywho, he is weak to the Aegis Reflector. Aegis Reflector? I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Urian's weapon. You use it to reflect all of his Hadouken shots back at him. If he does a Shoryuken and then lands on the Aegis Reflector, he takes damage. If his Tatsumaki Senpakyu ends as soon as he reaches the Aegis Reflector, then he takes damage from that as well. I know a lot of people just prefer to call it the Hurricane Kick. I remember in the old, like, SNES manuals for Street Fighter 2, all of Ryu's moves was just like the Fireball, the Dragon Punch, and the Hurricane Kick, you know? I think they did list it, like, he says Hadouken, and he says Shoryuken, but they gave it, like, Dragon Punch, Hurricane Kick instead of, because, it's hard to pronounce Tatsumaki Senpakyu! I do not envy the voice actors who have to do that, my god. By defeating Ryu, we get ourselves the Hadouken, ladies and gentlemen, which kind of acts pretty much just like a Mega Buster shot, honestly. So yeah, that's the last we're going to be seeing of Dan Hibiki. See you later, you wonderful, glorious Street Fighter you. He's not very good. He's a joke character. But either way, folks, we beat all 8 Street Fighters. Now we're moving on to the Shadaloo Kings. Oh yeah, we're going to be taking on Bison and his big bad generals. First off, Balrog. Technically, he's also M. Bison if you go by the Japanese name, and a lot of people like to just call him Boxer because of the name stuff, but I'll talk about that later. He is constantly chasing you throughout this entire stage, and his gloves, they must have spikes in them or something, because if they connect with Mega Man, instant kill. You die in one hit if Balrog lands a punch. Seriously. I think he's cheating. He's got to have spikes in there. So what I do is I use Soul Satellite in order to protect myself from a lot of the explosive bombs, a lot of the bird enemies that swoop in. When you take a whole bunch of shots with the Soul Satellite, the big energy balls that you're shooting are big enough to kill most things that are coming your way. But the idea is you don't want to get hit by Balrog, and you just want to keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. You can actually drain his health if you keep shooting at him, but he instantly dies if you make it to this bridge, and oh, he fell. My fight money! If you keep sliding and holding right after Balrog falls, you can get yourself another energy tank. Mega Man's movement gets locked up at a certain point of the victory, so if you just notice it and you just decide to start running towards it, all of a sudden the game will lock up, and then Mega Man will just stand there until he beams away to go to Vega's level, and then it's just like, I missed that energy tank, god damn it. So watch out for that. But you can technically kill Balrog by draining his health. I heard it's possible, but it's just kind of easier to have him chase you the whole way till he falls, you know. But yeah, a lot of name confusion with the 3 Shadaloo King guys, because I guess they called him the boxer Mike Bison in Japan, which sounds awfully like Mike Tyson. And then they were like, well, we don't want to get in trouble with America. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to have that connection. So we'll just switch the names around. Only instead of calling Balrog what Bison's name is, Vega, they decided to give Vega to the Claw Shadaloo King guy. So then, who his name was Balrog originally. So Balrog became Vega, and then Mike Bison became Balrog, and then Vega became M. Bison, which I suppose is Master Bison. I think that's what the M stands for. I'm not sure, but now you know, in case you don't know anything about Street Fighter. They usually go by Boxer, Claw, and Dictator, if you don't want to get your names confused. But this boss in this stage, a lot of people had problems with Vega when they first tried Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. He has a little bit of armor with his mask, and until you knock it off, it's going to take a lot to drain his health. He's weak to Lightning Kick, and the Lightning Kick actually knocks off his mask. So here he is. Here's Vega. He likes to climb the cage, and when he does, he always dives to where Mega Man is, and he not only does he have a long reach, he goes very far when he jumps off. He tends to home in on you. Like, if you're just underneath him when he jumps off that cage, he's going to keep moving in your direction, and he's very accurate, too. So I would recommend, make sure he climbs the cage from, like, the very left of the wall, the very right of the wall, and just go across the entire room in order to dodge it, because he has a long reach, and unless you're all the way to the right, right next to the wall, you're probably going to take contact damage from that. The Lightning Kick can knock off his mask, which makes him a little bit weaker to attacks. He does have a chance of rolling back into the mask, picking it back up, and putting it back on his face. But you can knock it off again with the Lightning Kick. I would just recommend that, like, when his special move happens, his Ultra move, as long as you just stick to the ground, you won't get hit by it. You can actually climb the cage yourself in that fight, and that can actually help you dodge his dives pretty nicely. And yeah, the big tip is when he dives off the cage, make sure he's on the very left or very right, and when he is, go all the way to the wall. Go all the way to the opposite side of the room, because he has a ridiculous amount of reach. But there's Yoga Inferno aiming upwards, like I said when we got it. The good thing about Yoga Inferno as well is that it allows you to hover in the air when you shoot it. Sort of like Shadow the Hedgehog and his guns back in the Shadow the Hedgehog video game. You've all played that, right? What am I talking about? Look who you're subscribed to! Anyway, folks, it wouldn't be a Mega Man game if we didn't have a boss rush, so we have to fight all 8 of the Street Fighters. If I want to unlock one more Shadaloo King to fight, I have to get 4 perfects in this boss rush. So I'm going to be attempting to do that. And also, this arena is basically Seth's laboratory, the final area in Street Fighter 4, where you would take on the final boss, Seth. I like that the computer monitor has Mega Man's robot frame. But yeah, folks, boss rush, let's do it. And booyah! We got 4 perfects in the boss rush. We don't actually fight Seth. This is the entire level. Even though it's in Seth's laboratory of Street Fighter 4, we don't actually fight the guy. So that's kind of weird. But if you do it successfully, the field area you go to next should be raining. If it's raining, then that means we've unlocked the other secret boss of version 2. So who is it? It's Sagat! The missing Shadaloo King, the final boss of the original Street Fighter, and this guy is a big pain in the ass. He likes to shoot a whole bunch of tiger shots. Tiger, tiger, tiger! And he shoots slow shots, he shoots fast shots, he also shoots big shots, which do the most damage, and you want to jump over them. My big tip is to pay attention to what Sagat is doing. Pay attention to his movements. When his body starts, like, building up energy, that's when he's going to do a big shot, and that's when you know to jump at the very height of when it starts to pass you. He's weak to the Hadouken, but I want to save it for Bison, because this is a double fight, and if you die to Bison, you have to fight Sagat again. Yeah, it's one of those fights. Fantastic. But then again, if you didn't get the 4 perfects, I wouldn't be fighting Sagat at all. He does a lot of rising tiger knees, and that's why I like to stick to either the left or right side of the screen so I don't get hit by that. But anyway, folks, here he is, the big bad head honcho of Shadaloo, M. Bison. He's weak to the Hadouken. He likes to do his signature move, the Psycho Crusher! And you gotta jump over that. His ultra move is to do a bigger Psycho Crusher, and sometimes he goes way above the ground and you need to slide under it instead of jump over it. So you gotta watch out for that. Maybe pause the game as it happens so that you know what to dodge. But he has these double knee attacks where he hits, slides along the ground, and usually when he does that, he's probably going to do a Psycho Crusher immediately afterwards. That's what I keep bracing myself for anyway. That foot stomp where he tries to jump on your head and then he can, like, change his position in the sky. If you fought M. Bison in the games, you kind of know what he plays like a little bit, but it's a little different with Mega Man, you know. Gotta watch out for all these projectiles, and, oh my god! This is the secret final boss, ladies and gentlemen. Our final boss is Kuma. God will come to death! Jesus Christ! His ultra move, the Raging Demon, is an instant kill. If it touches you, you die. So that's fun. Jump! Once again, all 3 of these bosses are actually weak to the Hadouken. The Hadouken's great for Kuma because it actually passes through his fireballs. Well, his purple fireballs, I should say. Not his big, powerful orange fireballs that he builds up. Those can do more damage, and your Hadouken will not pass through that. There's a fun little thing about this fight where, like, if you go in with an energy tank and you try to use it, it refills Akuma's health as well. Meaning, you have to beat this guy on 1 health bar, and you cannot use an energy tank to save yourself, and that's what makes him a little bit harder than, say, M. Bison or Sagat or whoever. You have to do it on one life bar. You have to get used to his patterns. And if you're not a Mega Man expert, well, that's going to be a little bit tricky now, ain't it? I wish these boss fights didn't go by so quickly. I'd love to keep talking about their strategies and stuff, but what can I say? I am a street fighting champion. I am Mega Man. Booyah! Oh, I love this music. A Rival, you did such a damn good job. Sonic! Oh my god, what a good job for a fan game. This is really, really, really fun, and I had a blast playing Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. I will say that the Shadaloo portion of the game is certainly lacking. I was expecting to go through an entire castle like, you know, every other Mega Man game ever. I assumed Bison would have some crazy laboratory where you'd have to use all your powers to their full disposal to get through it, but I guess that wasn't in the cards. The only real level is Vega's, really, and even that's just climb up, head right, now you're fighting Vega, so, you know. The boss fights are incredibly exhilarating. Trying to get a run where I got both Sagat and Kuma, and I had to practice this game quite a bit in order to master Sagat and Bison, because beating both of them without using an energy tank like I just did, oh, trust me, I made it look really easy. But that takes a lot of practice to get used to. Trust me, it takes a lot of practice, and I had to practice the hell out of this game just so I could get both Sagat and Akuma to show up. But, yeah, I really like the music. The levels feel like Mega Man levels proper. I really like some of the enemy designs and how they try to attack you, like the Turban guys in Dalsum stage, and a lot of the Samurai guys in Chun-Li and Ryu stages. I think this is really fun. I love the boss fights, and again, this is a completely free game that you can download at Capcom Unity/Mega Man, so you're not paying a dime to play this. As fan games go, this is pretty damn incredible, and I would absolutely recommend it. Now that being said, I just mentioned at the end of the credits there that I unlocked a cheat. If I go to a stage and hold the jump button on the pause screen, and then I push up, down, down, down. That's all I have to do is push those 4 movements. It changes the stage music of wherever you are into Guile's theme. In fact, I think the track name on the OST is Goes With Everything, or just... Because it's basically like that old meme that used to be on YouTube all the time, where it was like Guile's theme goes on everything, goes with everything, and like... You just see a whole bunch of silly YouTube videos that's using the Guile music, and it still feels kick-ass and awesome. But there's another cheat that you can do in Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. At the title screen, if you hold the jump and shoot buttons for 6 seconds, you'll eventually hear a chime in the background. And when you go to a level, you actually have the Hadouken. But you don't have the Hadouken you get from Ryu, which is connected to your Mega Buster. Instead, you actually get the signature move, the Hadouken. And in order to perform it, you actually have to do the motion that is in the Street Fighter games. If you've played Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo, you already know what I'm talking about. Or rather, Maverick Hunter X on the PSP. Either of those 2 games, both of them had it. But if you push down, forward, and the shoot button, Mega Man does the Hadouken. And you can actually charge the button up if you hold the shoot button after performing down, forward. And so you can do a small, slow Hadouken, or you can do a very hard, powerful red fireball Hadouken that will deal out more damage. Now, the problem with the actual Hadouken in the game is that, although it's cool and it makes you feel like Ryu, like you're playing an actual Street Fighter game, Mega Man is going to stand there and perform the fireball, and you're not allowed to move around all that much. And it can make fights like Sagat, Bison, Akuma really tricky when, after shooting the fireball, he actually has to stand there for an extra second because there's not much you can do about that, you know? So, fair warning, it can make the game a little bit harder, but it still is actually a weakness for Chun-Li, Sagat, Bison, and all of the gang. And, you know, it's just kind of cool to see Mega Man performing the Hadouken like X did back on the Super Nintendo all those years ago. And we didn't need no Dr. Light capsule for that. Just had to hold the jump and shoot buttons for 6 seconds. So yeah, folks, I'm a big fan of Street Fighter. I'm a big fan of Mega Man. I know this one took a long time for me to get to. It went by really, really quickly, and I took out the bosses so quickly that I don't have much to say. But, yeah, short game. It's free. It's pretty damn cool. I bow to you, Sonic. You did a very good job designing this game. As you know, Mega Man 11 was announced, and I'll probably get around to that when that game drops later this year. I am so excited. I can't wait to play that. That looks incredible already from the very little we've seen of it. But, yeah, folks, stay tuned for Crash Twinsanity coming up next, and I'll see you next time. I am the Great Clement. Toodles.
Are you alright?
I'm okay. I'm just half dead.
And Bison?
All dead.